Okay, so it's been a little while since I last recorded, so I'm gonna pause briefly just to check things, and I'll cut back once I know what I'm doing. Alright, so for now we're mostly just waiting for the malaria to pass, and to build the ruin that was started in the last episode. In terms of supply, we look pretty decent. Food is about to be restored. We are a little low on components, but that's fine. We do have a number of ship parts though, so we should think about upgrading the ship relatively soon in terms of its scale. But I think the most pressing issue for now is food and components. And we'll get started on component mining. Right, the rice field is being harvested. It doesn't look like mechanoids will be coming anytime soon, and with the time it will take to defend the structure, I think we could probably get another harvest or two out of this map. The simple meals that will be held in storage have been increased a little bit, as some of our colonists are eating raw food. Okay, in fact, the cooking's not being done at all, and that is because we've run out of meat. I'd forgotten that we'd been primarily using meat. We have a slight shortage of marble tiles, so I've ordered some more marble chunks from around the map to be hauled in, as we'll need quite a lot of them if we want to build up our supply for art and the rest of the structure we're building. Work hasn't been started by Crafter on a new sculpture yet, so I'm assuming he's pretty busy for the time being. The component mining from around the map that was ordered earlier is being completed now. And within the next day or so, once the structure is finished, we can hopefully move on to upgrading the space on the ship, as that will likely increase mood further all round, although to be fair it is quite good for the moment. We have a new pair form, that being Throban Lane, and I believe that makes two sets of partners now, if I remember correctly, with Sam being married to Lips. So should we get another double bed down once they are married, it will save quite a lot of space on the ship, allowing us to free up 2 bedrooms. We also received some cargo pods with 31 tortoise eggs, which we will haul on board, and that should save on our vegetables for a little while, maybe a couple of days. We also have the Duranian Jubilee up, and we will probably wait on it for a couple of days, just because Mood is pretty decent for the time being, and it may be useful just in case we are raided or something else happens to lower mood. I'll probably leave it up on the sidebar though, just so that I can remember that it's available. The work on the structure is going well, with the floor almost done. The marble supply is basically out, but it's been all hauled in. So now we will work on gathering for our next project, and we will mine out a vein of steel to the southwest. Soon Crafter should be able to start making some marble statues, and we will likely just deconstruct all of the wooden statues to decrease the value of the colony. As the nighttime arrives, the quest for the structure is completed, and we get our gold and glitter world medicine as a reward, it being 67 gold and 8 glitter world medicine respectively. So we have a total of 11 glitter world medicine for now, and we will be saving that for a time where it's more needed. And we will have to subside off of herbal medicine for the time being as well, although I would like to attempt to buy or make some industrial tech medicine, although we are still waiting on a couple of researchers before we can actually make it. The steel vein is mined out fairly fast, and that is pretty good for us. We also get a mech cluster with a psychic suppressor. I believe this lowers the consciousness of people around the area, and it decreases it to 50. So we are probably going to have to deal with this. All work is going to be done extremely slowly. Sending throb probably wouldn't be a good idea because of their sunlight negativity. I need to send someone who is female. That's fine, and ooh, you're not taking glitter world medicine though. So we'll have Tree deal with the psychic suppressor. Hopefully she doesn't have a mental break on the way. She should get a bonus to mood from low expectations, so hopefully that will be enough to keep her sane. And then meanwhile everyone else will work on upgrading the ship. And just for my own sanity, I will be working on both sides simultaneously, as I very much want to keep the ship looking symmetrical, as it looks very good to me. I also want to design the ship with it focused on interior defense, as that is usually how I like to play Rimworld. I avoid kill boxes and focus more on very defensible corridors and lots of flanking areas. Tree arrives at the psychic suppressor rather quickly, despite her movement speed penalty from her peg leg. I am a little worried that should the mechanoids wake up, they'll be able to target her, as both turrets' range seem to have her in their sights. We'll have Tree eat and sleep first though, as we need her mood to remain above the mental break threshold. And at 1 o'clock we will wake her back up and have her melee attack the suppressor. I didn't want to leave her till the morning, as I'm hoping the darkness on the map, should she be able to destroy the machine before it becomes light, will help with her escape. Although, sadly, she's not made it in time. She's been hit pretty bad. Right, she's outside their range. Luckily, she is a doctor, so she should be able to tend herself reasonably quickly, if she doesn't go down. If she does, then it's goodbye to Tree. She should be fine, however. Right, good job. Hopefully she gets back without incident. In the meantime, we will continue working on the grav ship. With the grav extenders built, we can work on extending the thruster areas. And Tree luckily makes it back without any incident, and we will give her time to heal. Tree has a food binge, which is fair enough, although she ends up going for the go juice we have stored aboard, getting an addiction immediately. That will likely be something in itself to deal with now, as we either have to choose to grow it to feed her addiction, or we have to imprison her and hope that we can get her out of it. the new corridors on the ship are added, and this should hopefully do a good job of allowing us to defend the ship properly. However, we still have a fair amount of time to spend on the map, with at least 12 days remaining to defend the monument, with our storage mostly being full as well, and a little extra space. I will be extending the shelving slightly on both wings of the ship. And also I will plan out a small defensive structure to the south side of the ship, so we have a better time against raiders. Lane has become hostile, and we will have to deal with him immediately. Just in case we can incapacitate him, I'm gonna set up a prisoner room, and we will probably just melee rush him with several colonists. I'm going to have craft a refrain though, just because he has a longsword, and I don't want to go through the trouble of having him drop it. Luckily we are able to down lane without issue, and I'm very happy with that, as his ability is quite useful, and I don't want to lose it just yet. Apparently he is no longer hostile for some reason. I have no idea why, but he isn't showing up as hostile now, and I'm hoping that means I don't have to imprison him. It may just mean the event repeats itself again at a later point, and we'll see if that happens or not, but hopefully for the time being he'll be fine. Meanwhile, I'm going to light the new corridors up, and the defensive structure has also been laid out. I may or may not add some spike traps, but we will see. It looks like it should perform a pretty decent job, as it gives a full 360-degree angle and gives a small fallback position, where Crafter will be able to use his longsword with great efficiency. Combined with his Masterwork shield belt, he should be able to take quite a few enemies down. Sam is pregnant, and I believe that is the first colony-born child, as long as they are healthy. It should be a while before this point, but we have the facilities for a child. Although I would prefer this to be sterile tile if we are using it for childbirth. Multi-analyzer research is finished, and the next will be probably drug production, so we can get towards medicine. We don't really have the space at the moment to install the multi-analyzer though, for the time being, and that is an issue we're probably gonna have to try and fix relatively soon. I may be able to install one, but it's gonna look very gross. Throw up works on the multi-analyzer while the colonists haul in the potatoes harvested today. With less than half the field actually hauled in, we're already coming on at 700 units, which is looking pretty decent, with the rice field almost ready to be harvested again as well. I may extend the rice field slightly, although I'm unsure yet, as I don't know whether it will be... No, it will definitely be ready by the time the monument's done. Crafter has low hemogen, which is not good at all. And we will work on extracting some hemogen packs from the colony. Just a couple for the time being. I'd like to be able to find a prisoner soon who I can operate on to gain medical XP and use as a hemogen farm for Crafter, as he's had a fair few close calls with low hemogen. And I don't want to rely on the colonists forever to produce it, as it's fairly a lot of micromanagement, which gets harder to remember as there's more things to do as the colony grows. The harvesting of the rice field is started as well, and we will forbid sowing on it until all of the harvest work is done. The hill root and cloth fields are coming along nicely as well, with some harvests coming around for those potentially within the next 3 or 4 days, both of which will be permanently forbidden. The mechanoid threat also makes itself known again, giving us 18 days to leave, and with the monument being fully defended in 10 days, that gives us adequate time. Some horses appear on the map, and we will immediately look to hunt them down, as being able to make a fair amount of pemmican would save on what we're using for simple meals. And with that being the case, I'm going to decrease what we're spending on simple meals, as well as suspending the meat-only simple meal order. The additional storage I had assigned is already completely full, and I'm going to extend the floor stockpile for the ship hold all the way to the ends of the inner corridor, and I'm going to add storage to all of the bedrooms, as we need a lot more storage than we currently have, and we are not going to get any additional space on the ship for a decent amount of time. At least a quadrant, maybe more. We definitely need a way to manufacture the graphite panels as well, instead of relying on finding them, as each map has so far only provided around 70 to 120, I think, which isn't enough for major expansions, and we have to save up across several missions to be able to do anything large scale. The graphite is locked behind advanced fabrication though, which is a long way off, I believe, and advanced grav tech. Oh no, just fabrication and advanced grav tech. However, after medicine, that's 6,000 points of research, which is going to take a long time. And also, it costs a decent amount of plasteel and a lot of backstone blocks. The plasteel may not look like a lot, but if you're manufacturing like 200, 300 graphite panels, it builds up. the Vaxstone ends up being a huge amount as well, which we don't currently have that much of. The rice field will be resown, and with only 8.5 days left on the map, I will likely make the potato field into a staggered rice growing zone, which I will likely sow 1 to 2 days after this one is started. Tree is having a medical emergency with a very high level of heat stroke, thanks to the ridiculous temperature of the chem fuel generator room. I'm likely going to have to move her into the main room of the ship. You just need to find someone who is assigned to constructing. The temperature on the research bench is going to be constantly bad because of the high temperature of the chem fuel generators, and we don't have anywhere we can put it on the ship without risking it to potential damage or destruction from raiders. Lane is at risk of a major mental break due to recreation starvation. I'm hoping he's able to deal with that until tomorrow, but it depends if he chooses to do recreation or sleep. We have a quest for a orbital felon, and we are being commissioned by the Empire to track down and kill a fugitive known as Mackenzie. They're wanted for an assassination attempt on the Stellark, and the reward would be a grav core. Now, while this is a good reward, we have 6 grav core extenders that can be used on the ship in general. We already have 3, and while we have all of them installed, we only are using slightly over half of the area we can use due to lack of graphite panels. I'm hesitant to accept this quest due to lack of graphite panels as a reward. And we also have a lot of ship areas nearby that are guaranteed to give graphite panels along with the grav core. So I will probably ignore the quest just for that reason. But I do think it's pretty decent. Crafter is suffering with extreme heat stroke as well. And actually having Tree in here isn't doing much. I'm going to have to disable the vents for the time being, and I'm probably going to install 2 passive coolers, and I hope that's enough to overpower the heat coming from this room. It does seem to be the case as the temperature is dropping, slowly but surely. And we will keep an eye. Yep. their heat stroke is going down, which is good news. Crafters hasn't. Okay, it is now. With that, we should be fairly safe. Drug production research is finished, and we will move on to medicine production research. The hill root is finally ready, and that is being harvested. Once that is harvested, the rice will be worked on, and then I will most likely end up ending the episode for today. It's been a fairly quiet episode, no raids, which I'm hoping remains the case till the end, as I don't really want to deal with one right now, especially due to being a man down. Speaking of which, Crafter, who had only gone up recently, is weaponless, so we need to have them equip their longsword. And I'm also going to have them start Death Rest, as they're very close to needing it again, and I want them able to be awoken in the case of a raid, which I'm imagining will end up happening fairly soon, due to lack of any dangerous events. The monument is half a quadrum away from being completed. During the night, the colony is hit with a round of fibrous mechanites, with it only affecting Kiko, who is also our best doctor, and the only doctor not downed. So we will be having him tend to himself for the time being. It is the type that will last around a quadrum, which is not exactly great news for us, as he will now be sleeping a lot more. And this will also likely make him much more likely to have a lower mood due to missing recreation times. The second rice field is going to be set up, as the first one is now on 20%. And the remaining hill root is also being harvested as well. The cloth field is nearly ready, likely being up and ready to harvest within 2 days. And the horse meat is slowly being gotten through, although one of the creatures did end up rotting before we could use it. We've used a fair amount of vegetables to build up our pemmican store, although I'm thinking it'd probably be wise to hunt a couple more animals on the map before we end up leaving. Okay, with the rice field coming to an end, all of the jobs that I wanted to get done for this episode have been completed, or are nearing completion. So I will be ending the episode here. Thank you for watching the episode and the series if you have been. I'm very much enjoying creating it, and I very much hope you're enjoying it. But I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.